sales conversations make you feel awkward or pushy, it's time to ditch the outdated salesy strategies. Your guide, Nikki Rausch, will show you how to combine kindness with selling skills to meet your prospects where they are, and in the process, how to up-level your influence and income. Learn how to earn business easily and effortlessly. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversation. Today's episode is a sales success story with one of our amazing longtime Sales Maven Society members, Tracey Warren. Tracey, welcome to the show, friend.
Thanks. I'm so glad I'm here.
I'm so glad to have you here.
I love being a part of the Sales Maven Society.
How long, do you know how long, I should have looked it up, how long you have been in the group?
I don't know. It's been a minute.
It's been a few minutes. Now I'm like, oh, I should have looked this up before I got you on this call.
It's all right.
I'm going to say at least since maybe 2019, maybe 2018.
Could be. Yeah, could be 2018.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Love having you in the group. Thank you so much for being here.
In the group. Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about you and your business.
So I run my company is called Ignite Your Champions. I run a social media marketing company. I am an engagement instigator and content creator. I do the media, so you can do the social.
Love it.
And I work with mostly business coaches and consultants who hire me to provide a consistent social media presence that gets their ideal clients to take action.
I love that. You have been in the social media realm, I think probably since I met you, which was back in 2013.
It's been 14 years.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
I know. I can't even, I think back and go, gosh, how much time does that mean I've spent on Facebook? I don't want to know the answer to that question. Although I will say I spend less time on social media now than I ever have.
Yeah, same.
Just I'm a lot more intentional with it. So,
well, I think this intention around, even with your business name, like Ignite Your Champions, it's really, you have done such a great job of building an incredible community and showing others how to build this community so that you create, I shouldn't put words in your mouth, so correct me at any point, ambassadors and people who amplify your message because they become raving fans of you and who you are as a person and how you show up in the world. Would you agree? Yeah.
Yeah, it's about creating ease and joy. And when you build your business by creating connection and community, that's where the ease and joy can come in because you don't have to do it on your own. And we've all heard that. But when you really gather a community around you and you witness it, that feels completely different. Yeah.
You've also, since I've met you, published 2 books.
Yeah.
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 You and I share that we are part of a series. We each have a book under a certain series. It's called 6-Word Lessons. And I remember reading you published yours before I did mine because I remember reading yours going like, okay, I got to get the flow of like, what is this and how does this work? I can't remember now. Yours is called 6-Word Lessons
for Successful Social Media.
Yeah. Okay. And then your last book that you published, what now, 2 years ago or 3?
September, it'll be 3.
Okay.
Is Ignite Your Champions, Build Your Business by Creating Connection and Community.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I'm working on another book.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's called Priscilla Poopy Pants. Now wait. See, already that's a here kitty kitty.
It totally is.
But Priscilla Poopy Pants, the subtitle will be like something around inner critics, imposters, and other liars that live in your head.
Oh.
Because I see those things standing in the way of women showing up in all of their brilliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree. 100%. Tell us a little bit about how you work with clients now. Like what's an engagement with you look like? Somebody wants some social media support.
Yeah, so an engagement looks like a monthly retainer. I create all the content and graphics and do all of the posting. And a typical, like we sign a 6-month contract, but my clients don't leave, right? Like I have two that I've been doing their stuff for 2 years. I did take a break from social media when
Yeah.
I launched my co-working space and then have just revamped it. And so, yeah, people don't leave because they don't want to go back to doing their own social media.
I hear that
So,
for sure.
and sometimes part of an engagement is me being a cheerleader for them. So I have a new-ish client and I think she has a lot of fear. And I'm like, yeah, I need, like, you are in analysis paralysis.
Mm,
Like, let's go.
mm.
And thankfully, her and I share a coach. And the coach is like, why don't you let Tracey work? And so it's like, okay, this is great. And
Uh,
but sometimes they need a cheerleader because they're not so sure about the language or they're not so sure about haters coming out of the woodwork, which for
mhm,
most of us is just never going to happen.
mm. I don't know. I feel like the more you put
Well,
yourself out there, the more you open
yes, that's
yourself up to
true.
that. But at the same time there is something about having somebody else create your content so that it can feel awkward and weird to toot your own horn. But when you
Oh,
are creating the content and I read something and I'm like, well, that makes me sound great. Yeah, let's post that versus me have to go like, what would I write about myself to go like, hey,
no,
hi, here's what I've done. I love that you have that as a service for
yeah,
somebody.
it is hard. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me too. Like,
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
so I just find creative ways and encourage other people to find creative ways because
Hmm.
sometimes posting a review can be just as much about me talking about me, but it's not me talking about me.
Right. Yeah. I love
It's
that.
someone else, and then
Yeah.
I can craft a story around that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Same thing with book reviews, right? Like you have to you have to talk about yourself until it's uncomfortable,
Yep.
and then keep talking. Which I get that that's hard. I do get it because it took
Yeah.
me a long time to really embrace.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It is hard. Okay.
hmm.
Well, we're here to share some of your success story.
Yeah, let's
And
talk about you.
no, let's talk about you and what you have implemented and the results that you've gotten. I'm very excited to hear you share about this because you have been a client and have been a part of the Sales Maven Society for so long. And you have really been able to test and try these things out and go, yeah, this one works. This
Oh,
has really helped me. So share a little bit about what's the technique, what have you implemented, and what kind of results do you see from it?
okay. Well, first of all, I am a word nerd. I think that's really important. And one of the things about that I've heard from you over and over again is about using I and we and our and my. And I have gotten so good at taking out all the I's and my's because it's not about me.
Hmm.
It's about them. And I know that I've told you this story before, but when I've been in conversations where you weren't there, you'd be like, wait, Nikki would say, take out that because it it is important. Like when
Hmm.
someone introduces themselves and they go on and on and on about themselves, I check out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really don't care. Tell me how you can help me.
Hmm.
And so I love being creative with the language and like I said, finding creative ways to take out the I. And
Hmm.
sometimes you have to say I, but
Yeah.
instead of saying I am looking forward to, I can just say looking forward to, and that's there you go. I just took out the I.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love reviewing documents and going, okay, how could I say this without saying, so I work with one client and they're like, they had this document, why you should work with us. And it's cringy to me because it's all me, 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 which
Yeah.
a friend of mine says those are like opera posts, me, 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 me.
Exactly.
And so it's like we have great reviews on Yelp and Google. And I'm like, okay, how can I say that without saying that? And I'm like, 5-star reviews on Google from people exactly like you. Easy, right?
Ding,
But
ding, ding.
it takes all it, I love it. I take it as a challenge. There was one other instance, a friend of mine reached out to me and she was like, Tracey, can you help me with something? And I'm like, okay, maybe. And she's like, I want to write a letter to my clients telling them that I am raising my prices. So I'm like, who's going to know about this? Nikki. And so I think I went into the Sales Maven Society and did a search for raising prices and found some language. And then I was able to write her this letter and she wrote back and said, oh my gosh, that totally worked. People were like, it's about time. And wait, now I want you to do more work for me, right? Like it's so easy to underestimate the power of our language. And I just love to embrace it and find creative ways to do it a little bit differently.
Are you ready to uplevel your sales game? Well, here is a gift for you. It is the Mastering the Sales Conversation mini training. This training gives you my proven step-by-step approach to sales so that you can go from that overwhelmed and intimidated approach that you have to sales to feeling confident and leading a conversation so that you easily guide somebody to hiring you. You can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/mastering. This is my gift to you. Go grab it now. I've never heard anybody say they're a word nerd, but I so want to claim that too because I am as well. And the language and how it all counts. And it really does matter how your message is received when it's all about written from your perspective, all about you. The reader gets it and they go, don't care, like not interested in you because I don't know you. And until I know you, I don't want to hear about you. If you can show me
so part of the word nerd thing shows up for me when someone introduces themselves as a business and life coach. I'm like, yawn. Like, tell me something different.
Yeah.
That is give me a here kitty kitty, right? Tell me something that's going to make me lean in and get curious and ask more questions. And it's not about lying and it's not about being clever even. It's about it can be about a teeny tiny tweak, like taking out I's and we's. That's not huge. That's a little tweak.
It is a little tweak, and yet it probably is one of the most impactful ways to change the way people respond to your written word and your emails, your DMs, your posts, your everything. Now, when I see, because obviously I still do this for clients constantly, they send me like, here's what I want to say. And all I see is I statements. Like they pop off the page. I don't know, like I always wanted a superpower, and maybe my superpower is that I statements like pop off and like catch my eye. It's almost like it's bouncing off the page to me, and all I see is all these bouncing I. I'm like, oh no, we got to rework this. We need to change the context here if you really want somebody to respond. And I like that you're sharing, like, it isn't it's easy to overlook it, but yet with a little bit of effort. And I love that you approach it from this place of like, it's a challenge. How can you get the I statement out there? So instead of going like, oh, I really don't want to have to do this, it feels like work. If you approach it with like, oh, let's have some fun here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what we can do with language so that it makes it more interesting to the other person. And then like your friend who get this response of like, oh, people are coming back going, I actually want to buy more from you. Oh, you should have raised your price, 2 years ago. And they're so happy with the way it's received. Then you start to, I think when you have those experiences, you start to go like, oh, language is so powerful. Like I'm so on board with this.
It really is the simplest thing. I mean, there's a lot of examples of how that, manifests. I know for me, another thing that I do just because it just bugs me. I tend to not even use like the same word twice in a Facebook post. So if I use the word community already, I'm going to find like, I'm going to thesaurus, like what's another word for community? So I don't have to say that word twice because otherwise it'll start to be like, well, I love my community and my community is so awesome and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy cow, did I just say, I also notice it if I'm talking out loud, if I'm reading something, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. That's another. I mean, you can also get the I's and we's when you do that.
For sure.
And my and our and like all of the different ways that we pronoun or whatever the word is.
Yeah. All the ways we talk about ourselves.
Right.
And our offers and our company and me as a person that isn't very interesting to prospective clients.
Correct.
Yeah. So it is such a powerful technique. Thank you for coming and sharing about it. I really am so grateful. And it's fun to see your success. It's also fun to know that this is how you show up in the world. And now people come to you and go, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
Can you help me with the wording on this? And you go like, yes, I can.
Yes,
I know how to do this.
I love it.
That. Oh, so good. All right. So as we wrap up, I always like to ask 2 questions. As somebody who's been a member of the Sales Maven Society for so many years, what is one of the biggest benefits for you? What keeps you coming back?
The community. Like you attract some of the most amazing people. I mean, yes, there's awesome content.
Thank you.
But if the content was awesome and the community was not, I wouldn't come back. But the community, the people who reach out and, have connection calls with, and it's kind of, it's Sales Maven, but it's beyond the society because
for sure.
There's just so many great people.
Yeah, I agree. I know I've said this so many times, this idea of like, there are times where I just want to pinch myself and be like, I can't believe what this has really evolved into, something outside of me, which was never like, I didn't go into it with this great big intention of, oh my gosh, I'm going to build this community that is so much bigger than Sales Maven. This is really about the people in the group. And you've been such a great contributor. And I know that you're always up for meeting other fellow members. And they always like, your name comes up of like, well, I had a meeting with Tracey Warren. Like that's a common, like, of course you did, because she's so open to continuing to build that community and continuing to welcome people into the group. So thank you for that. All right. Last question. People listening, what's the best way to get in touch with you and connect with you?
Social media, LinkedIn and Facebook. That's usually where I hang out. Don't send me a message on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh. But you can message me on Facebook. That LinkedIn messaging is, I told my husband's a developer, and I'm like, if you could develop something that would aggregate all of our messages, text, email, LinkedIn, DMs, all of them, Like people would pay. I would pay for that. People would pay for that.
It's a good idea.
But anyway,
Somebody listening.
LinkedIn and Facebook is where I tend to play.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for all that you do to contribute to the group. I'm very, very grateful to you. And thank you for coming and sharing your experience with us today.
I'm so glad to be here. I was feeling a little down, and this certainly helped.
Oh,
brighten my day.
Good. You brighten my day too. Excellent. All right. For you, the listener, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for showing up for the podcast. It's always fun to hear your takeaways after listening. And it's also really delightful how many times somebody listens to one of the sales success stories and then reaches out and is like, I really want to know that person. And then they connect. So we'll see what connections come out of this.
I love
Tracey's a great connector. So you won't go wrong by reaching out and connecting to her. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I will be back soon.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills. Are you ready to increase your confidence in your sales conversations? I have a gift for you that is going to show you exactly how to do that. It is my Closing the Sale ebook. It's all about leveling up your confidence, giving you language to use, how to seamlessly move somebody through the sales process. And you can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/maven. Go grab it.